Okay, all set with that. Okay, so does anybody have any questions on sizing? Because we're about to just start, and I think this is really up to you how long you want to make this sweater, because that's really how it's going to work. Because we're making the panel in a vertical stripe, um, you can start your foundation chain really as long as you want it. So if you want it to be a longer sweater and not stop like at the belly button, or if you want it to be shorter, you're going to do your base chain and then you can obviously put it up over your shoulder and determine where you want it to lay, stretching it out because there will be extra when you block it. That's how I designed it. And when I do my designs, I want it to be versatile so someone can make a top or a sweater longer, shorter. So you can kind of just make it to how you want it. And then we're moving across this way. And so if you want it to be wider and more loose, then you'll just keep adding to, the pattern, adding more stripes, if all of that makes sense. Yeah, I someone brought that to my attention here. It said they didn't see any finished measurements in the pattern. I think what I did right was a um like an overall average measurement for the sleeve length, which was like 16.5 inches. And I wrote, this can be shortened by eliminating rows in the repeat. And then for from top to bottom, it's going to roughly be 34 to 40 inches long, depending on the size you make. So I think that, and I can work on that more. I didn't have anybody to test the pattern, so a lot of it has to be like guessing and deciding like, okay, well, how much will this be when it's stretched? How many inches? What would the measurement be if somebody blocks it to this? So it gets a little tricky. Um, but you can also go along with like putting it up to your body, or going along with if you know what your size is normally. Like I said, size small for me would be like a size 4 to 6. Um, but yeah, I think what we need to do is probably get this pattern out so we have some testers for it and then doing different sizes and then we get those like exact measurements. I know that would be helpful. So, any other questions?
There was a question in the comments about the gauge. Was it done as a single or a double crochet? It looked like it was a double. Is
So
that
it's
correct?
it's actually single and double. It could be which I'm going to write that too. That was another note that I wanted to add in here. If you follow along the pattern instructions, starting with row one, um, it's a single crochet, two double crochet, single crochet, two double crochet, like as far as the rows. I made the gauge swatch to be the pattern repeat. So I'm going to write that in there. Or you guys can write that in there where it says follow along rows 1 through 12, but it's only 14 stitches. Sorry, I don't know if that's making sense, but I'm going to type it in the chat so you guys can write out uh on your pattern what gauge swatch, if you want to make one, what that will be. Give me one moment for that. Follow striped panel pattern rows 1 through 10 because it's 10 rows, but your foundation chain will be 15 because then when you single crochet back into that second chain, that will give you 14. Okay. And if anybody has any questions further, you can always email me too. It's just julie@handsofzeal.com. That's my company, my crochet company, Hands of Zeal. I'll drop that in here as well. And again, the gauge swatch, if you make one, that is not blocked. Okay, so we'll go ahead and begin. And we'll just do a couple rows for this because I know it's going to be a lot of crocheting, just very long back and forth. But we'll go through and just work through the pattern a little bit, and you can see how like the color changes work. So I'm gonna just stick with like size small, but go ahead and make your foundation chain. So for size small and my main color, I'm gonna chain 121. I'll try not to talk out loud so everybody doesn't get messed up while counting. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost there. Seven, eight. Okay. I have a chain of 121. Now, what I would recommend if you wanted to do is place it over your shoulder, put it at the bottom, like where you want. Don't mind my big belly, everybody. And then you throw it over your shoulder and grab it and then stretch it. And then you can see where it will possibly be placed once it's blocked, because that stretch will absolutely help. Sorry, it looks like I already found a typo. One second. Oh, wait, no, we're good. We're good. Okay, so from here, if everybody's good, you're going to start working your way back. So you'll just place one single crochet in the second chain from your hook. And we're just doing single crochet stitches the whole way across. I don't know if we have any beginner crocheters here, but I'm sure you've all learned the single crochet. Thankfully, that's the easiest one. So you'll just work in every stitch. I also realize some people they crochet tighter. I'm more of a loose crocheter, so you can also adjust your length as well if you tend to make it really tight. Because this is such a simple pattern, the uh, there's no like hard design that you have to have a very specific number of stitch count in it in order to achieve the design. This is all very single crochet and double crochet. So adding or taking away will not change the overall look of the design because it's just basically simple stripes. And working with a thick yarn, it does actually work up quite quick. It didn't take me very long. I think the longest part was weaving in the ends because there's so many colors. Okay, so just single crochet across. So I saw we had questions about, oh, okay, emailed the office on Friday, did not receive a response. Okay, I'll make a note of that. So I'll have access to this chat once we're done as well. So I'll make sure that we get that answer to you, Barbara. I would say I, of course, want to I use so much circular yarn, so I don't know how easy it is for you to find circular yarn in general because the substitute that I would say to use is also another circular yarn. Are you able to access it anywhere or you have nowhere to get circular yarn to your knowledge? And if you can't find circular yarn, okay, get at the local yarn shop, maybe try one of those. If you can't find circular yarn as well, well, this is wool, so like any worsted weight wool or wool combo would work. Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, local yarn stores are the best place. Thank you, Kat. When I first started crocheting, I didn't even know that yarn stores existed. I really thought you could only get yarn from Michael's and Walmart and Joann's, like craft stores or big box stores. And the first time I walked into like a local yarn store, I was like my whole life changed. I was like, I didn't even know that all of this existed. And then I probably became a yarn snob at that point, but I guess it happens. I know. I had a Joann's right across the street from where I live. Like I could walk there and they're no longer there. So sad. Okay, I'm almost done with row one. This is an easy project that you can do while anywhere. I mean, while watching something, and it's very simple, thankfully. And any questions so far, feel free to go ahead and ask them. So I saw we had, I'm assuming we have someone from France, and because we have her looking, Barbara. Um, And then Spain, right? Where is everybody else from? Where are all you calling in from? Arizona. Oh my gosh. Oh, a couple Arizona. I bet you it's really hot there right now. New York, Italy. Maryland, Germany, Michigan. Yeah, not sweater weather. Absolutely. Is it sweater weather anywhere right now? Pennsylvania, Colorado, New York, Florida. A local Florida girl. Not sweater weather here, that's for sure. Okay, someone's from Georgia, but they're in Florida right now. Well, welcome. Massachusetts. I feel like I've been to most of these places. I've never been to Michigan or Germany. I would love to go to Germany. I was supposed to go to Italy this year, but we're postponing that due to little baby coming. Florida. Thank you guys all for joining in. Indiana. Never been to Indiana. Hot in Ohio, I bet. And you're welcome, Barbara. Circulo loves to offer these classes as well. And I'm just like, it's so fun for me to do. So I enjoy it. So there's a question here. How did I get started with my crochet business? And do I have any tips? Um, I started a long time ago, actually, and it started as a hobby. My son he's 14 now. But when he was about 8 months old, I had to move in with my grandparents because I was in between homes. And my grandmother, she crochets and knits and sews and does all of the things, and she's amazing at them. And I asked her to teach me how to crochet, and she did, and I fell in love with it. And within a few months, I started writing my own patterns and started selling beanies. It was like I started with beanies, and then you know, was making them for friends, and I think I made like 1,000 beanies. And yeah, I just started designing patterns, put them up on Etsy. I would post my little makes on Instagram. I created a Instagram account, and it really honestly wasn't until I think when COVID hit that I really took off because I had already established quite a few patterns in my Etsy shop and my YouTube channel with tutorials. And during COVID, a lot of people picked up crochet, and that caused my business to boom because people started looking at content online and like, how do I learn? What are some things that I can make? And so that, like, it really happened organically for me. I feel like now, and I've built up a following for almost 13 years now, and I feel like it's harder now to even try and like see that grow. I've been stuck at the same number, which it's not about the numbers for me, but anytime I've tried to like, oh, the algorithm's changing again or adding this and adding that, I think it's more difficult now. The social media is just completely saturated, and I try and stay consistent, but thankfully a lot of my stuff boomed about 6 years ago now. So yeah, it's collaborations helped me a lot. Circula was one of my first. Actually, they weren't my first. And that helped me get my name out. And then I also work with Clover, who they make a lot of like crochet hooks and stitch markers and knitting needles, and you've probably heard of them. I collaborate with them every single month as well. So there's like two big ones. But just putting yourself out there, you can reach out to companies and ask for collaborations. They really are very open, or other designers as well. I started out doing that too. I'm still open to that too. So if anybody wants to collaborate, I'm always open. Okay. Let me just resend the link and then we're going to move on to our next row. Pretty sure everybody's probably caught up right now. Thousand beanies. Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, I won't make a beanie anymore. I think I overdid it. And I'm like, I don't even want to make hats anymore. I made so many. That's awesome that you learned to knit as well from your grandmother. She tried to teach me, and I actually love it. I want to learn. I just don't ever have the time because I'm crocheting all the time. So, okay, so if you reach the end of your row, before actually, you're gonna uh, go ahead and make your last single crochet, but don't finish it off. So you'll yarn over and pull up a loop. This is how I switch colors. Obviously, if you do it differently, that's totally fine. But you go to make your last stitch, and then you cut your yarn. And then you grab your next color that you're changing to, and you'll finish off that stitch with your next color. Like I said, everybody does it differently. This was how I was taught, so I just always do it that way. So I just add it to the hook and slide it on, and that's how I finish off my last stitch of the row, which is a single crochet. And then from here, we are gonna chain three and turn. And I wanted to make a note that the beginning chain threes do not count as a double crochet at any time throughout the panel work. Oh, and I switched to this color is called Evergreen. The number is 2769. It's really pretty. Love this color. And we're gonna just work on our double crochet rows now. There will be two of them back to back in this color. So you're gonna place one double crochet in the first stitch and then in each stitch across. And for any beginners, just a reminder how to make a double crochet. You're gonna yarn over. You're gonna insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first two loops, yarn over again, and pull through the last two loops. And that's your double crochet stitch. Do we have any beginners in here? I'm just curious. Or you can let me know how long you've been crocheting. Whoop, 33 years, on and off for 50 years. Amazing. So you've probably made all the things at this point. About 2.5 years, about a year, 10 years, 55 plus years. I believe it. I'll never stop. I'll be doing this forever. Just started crochet because I've had surgery on my left thumb. Oh my goodness, that sounds very like painful. New to crochet and knitting. On and off for 24 years, but only 4 years ago, I started to improve and learn more stitches and make garments. That's awesome. especially with all the access we have today with YouTube and classes. I learned a lot on YouTube when I first started. And then, of course, also I learned a lot through trial and error. The amount of times I've had to rip out projects and think, we can, as like crocheters and knitters, we become like perfectionists and we know that if we see one problem, it's going to bother us if we don't fix it. Oh, retired 4 years ago and picked it up again, making amigurumi toys for great nieces and nephews. Amigurumi, I definitely dabbled in that for a while. I think it's adorable. My only issue is it hurts my hands so much because it's such tight crocheting that if I work on it for a while, my hands get so cramped. But I do love it. Circulo has some really cute amigurumi patterns. Better with frogging with crocheting than I was at knitting. On and off for 48 years, more knitting in the last few. Oh, knitting is beautiful. I will have some time eventually to work on my knitting skills. I started a scarf, I guess. It's just back and forth. This might be how everybody starts. Yep, one of a kind designs and wearable art. Yes. I went to the H&H trade show with Circulo a couple years in Chicago, and some of the knitting patterns I saw, I was just so in love with. I'm like, I have to learn how to do this. It actually looks quite difficult, to be honest. I don't know how people do it sometimes. Oh, the gnomes for Circulo. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually made their gnomes, but I can make a note about that and that the pattern's not quite understandable. Learned as a child. That's awesome. Didn't crochet for years. 2023 tore a meniscus and had to have it repaired. Oh my goodness. That is. So are you an athlete? Started crocheting again while I was non-weight bearing on crutches for 8 weeks. Wow, how'd you tear your meniscus? That sounds so painful. I've heard that happens to a lot of people. And usually surgery is like the only thing that helps it. I think it is the only thing. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Aerial yoga. Okay. Oh man. No, yoga is quite gentle, but I've never done aerial yoga. That looks challenging. Also started with a knitted scarf. Yeah, I feel like everybody makes a scarf when you're knitting, right? Like I can do this one thing. I'll definitely let them know about the gnomes for sure. I love gnomes too, so yeah, aerial yoga looks very, very fun. This year I learned Tunisian crochet, which I've never done it. Maybe I have. No, I don't think I have. Isn't that where you put the loops all on one crochet hook and it's like multiple loops? I've seen designs and they're spectacular. Mosaic crochet. I've always wanted to do Tunisian. Looks like knitting, yeah, and much easier. I learned in Tarja crochet. I actually I don't have it here. It's the next pattern that I'll be releasing under my company, Hands of Zeal. I thought I had it down here. It's somewhere over there, but I did intarsia crochet and designed a lobster into a like it's going to be like a sweater. Um, but I got stuck because I ran out of the white yarn that I was using for the rest of the sweater, and I believe it's discontinued. I haven't been able to find it. So, which you're try when you're trying to match whites, it's actually really difficult. Like I didn't realize it would be that difficult because it has like a sheen to it and so yeah, but that's my plan. I don't know if anybody's tried Intarsia, but it's just extremely time consuming. The this a whole class is being recorded and Circulo's going to put it on their YouTube channel. So you can come back to it if you need to. I tried Etsy for the yarn because I thought it was yarn that I had in my stash for years. There's your sign right there, right? And it was by Cascade, I believe. And I went to my local yarn store, Sheep Thrills, and I thought I was getting the same. And then when I started crocheting and adding it wasn't the same. Like you could tell a clear difference between the whites, and I was really sad. And then I found some on Etsy that I thought was like their old one, and the girl canceled the order on me because she said she spilled something on the yarn. So I'm I've had to take on color blocking and I'm adding blue now. I'm a little scared, but we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. Because I really want to share this pattern and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just running into all the things. Yeah, sheep thrills, yeah. That is your local yarn store too. Awesome. I love that yarn store. Circulo has an entire room. They're like a flagship store for Circulo. And so they have like all of their yarns there. I've also taught classes at Sheep Thrills. And Erica, your local yarn store too. I feel like that's our only one here. Pretty sure. Which I'm like, maybe I should open a yarn store. And then I quickly tell myself, no, that's I don't think I could. There's this empty space right across my street. And I'm always like, oh, that would make such a cute area for a yarn store. Maybe someday. We'll see. Where we meet. I have taken several classes with you there. Thank you. I'm sure if I saw you, Esther, I would know exactly who you are. Okay, so I am at the end of row two. As you can see, they're long rows, right? So, which is why we're not obviously going to be doing the whole thing, um, because clearly this is going to take some time. So you're gonna obviously just continue following along because that's all it is one more row of double crochet of your color that you're currently using. And then in row four, you'd switch back to your, I call it the main color in the pattern. So for me, it was the yellow, which is the cuffs here, and then the in-between stripes of yellow, if you can see it on here. So the yellow, I think the lighting is okay. Let me open this a little more. So you'd switch back to your main color and do one row of single crochet. And then that's just the repeat. There's no increases, there's no nothing. You'll just go until you have one panel at the width that you would want it. And then you repeat on the other side. So you'll repeat the same pattern that you did. I did want to bring up though, if you want it to be cohesive, just make sure you have like the same amount of rows, obviously, for each one. So it lines up right. And so your colors line up right. Still battling it out in the foundation. You got this. I know it's long. It's a lot of counting. Does anybody have any questions on the panels? I know it's quite easy and clearly everybody seems to be a pretty seasoned crocheters here. Once you, I know I went over it at the beginning. I don't know if we had any late people that were joining, but there are assembly instructions for the panels. So after you have both of your panels completed and to my recommendation, blocked before you assemble, you will line them up side by side. You'll take your stitch markers. And then you will just stitch at the bottom, and like one here and one. You're going to determine where you want them to meet. You will determine how wide you want your neckline, if you want it to hang off the shoulder a little bit or just be like, on me, it's like here, like where my straps are. Um, and then that is where you will just simply whip stitch up or however your sewing method is. You'll attach it like that and then you'll repeat on the back. The front and back of this is the exact same. So you'll stop on the back as well where you want and turn my little person here so you can see it's the same and very simple design, easy assembly for that. And then you can start pinning the sides together as well with your stitch markers, but don't sew anything until your sleeves are done and they're completed because you don't know exactly how much space you'll need for your armhole until your sleeve is blocked and sewn up. So then you'll actually know for sure. So before you attach those. And then this at the bottom. I have the bottom of the cuff. There are some decreases, which you'll see uh, in your instructions here. You're going to do that in the main color as well. And you're just going to work around. Everyone will have a different stitch count for this because your first round is going to be working um, evenly. So it says, what do I put here? 1/2 double crochet evenly around the entire piece. And so that could just mean different for everybody. Um, I think I put it into the sides of each row. And then you will continue another round of that, and then you'll start decreasing just so it has a little bit of a cinch, which again, you don't even have to do that. You don't have to add a cinch. You can just make your bottom cuff, the same amount. You can make it longer. It's all very versatile, and you can add as many rounds to that as you want. Any questions so far? A decrease? Yes, I can absolutely show you a decrease. Um, okay, so because we also have decreases in the sleeves, which I'm wondering because I was going to go through a sleeve with you. So maybe I'll start, we can start the sleeve and then I'll show you how to do the decrease for that. And it's the same for when you decrease along the bottom cuff as well. Yeah, it could be made as a t-shirt, of course. Because the sleeves are worked in, it will be like a horizontal stripes as we're making it. So once it's attached, it kind of looks like it's also vertical, but it's not. So it's designed in horizontal stripes like this, and we'll start at the widest part. So you can just stop wherever. You can stop here and just make it, a short sleeve, or you don't have to add sleeves at all. And then you have like a vest. For the decrease question, is your question on how to like do a half double crochet decrease or single crochet decrease, or like do you not know how a decrease works? That's Barbara asking. Because I can just show you the actual. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Not a problem. So for anybody who doesn't know, and hopefully I can explain it and that you can see. Obviously, there's no decreases on our front panel, but I'm going to show you just how to do a decrease so you're aware. So when you do a decrease, I'm going to go ahead and chain one and turn my work for this because in the sleeve, you'll see it starts in row 10. There's a single crochet decrease over the first two stitches. So that's going to cause our sleeve to start to taper down because you don't want a super wide sleeve near your wrist, right? So there's going to be some decreased stitches. So for a single crochet decrease, what you're going to do is you're going to start working a single crochet into the first chain or the first stitch. So you'll insert your hook, grab your yarn, and pull up a loop. Now, normally you would just yarn over and pull through those first two loops. So for a decrease, we're going to go into the next stitch as well. So insert your hook into the next stitch, grab your yarn and pull up a loop. So now we have our yarn in two stitches essentially. Three loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all three of those. So I'll show you the front of it. It's almost created like a little triangle shape. You've just taken two stitches and cinched them together. And doing that over time will start to make your piece shape different. And so that's why we add decreases or increases to a project in order to make the shape smaller or larger. So that's a single crochet decrease. In the cuff for the bottom, there's half double crochet decreases. So very similar to your single crochet, but half double crochet, you're going to yarn over first. So it'll say half double crochet decrease over the first two stitches. So again, you're going over two stitches and cinching them together to make it overall smaller. So, but before you do that, you're going to yarn over because we want with the yarn over, we get a taller stitch. So yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch, just like you did before. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So that's five loops on your hook, and then you'll yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. So that's a half double crochet decrease. And again, this will be on YouTube and um you can also like Google it if you were just like, how do I do a half double crochet decrease? Just as a reminder, there's lots of not only tutorials, video, but also breakdowns of like sketches that people have done that show you as well. So I hope that was helpful. Decreases can be tricky. Any other questions or anything that anybody specifically would like to go over? I want to I want to work on the sleeve a little bit. That's a lot less stitches, and I think we could cover a few more rows and just to make sure that everybody has their fit right as well with the sleeve and figuring out like, oh, how do I know that this is, the size that I want? So you can put what you worked on to the side from your panel if you'd like to follow along with working on the sleeve. Because I know sometimes questions come up that you may not have had before, but I know that overall it's a very, like I said, very simple pattern to follow. And for anyone new that has joined, I know the number has gone up a little bit. My email is in the chat if you have any specific questions. The link to the pattern is also in the chat if you don't have the pattern.
¿Qué
Ah,
pasó?
someone
No,
have,
pues yo me voy para allí, que yo oí que tú lo prendiste.
I don't know if that was a question for me, but I wish I could speak every language. If I could have any superpower, that would be it. Okay, so let's move on to the sleeve. Just gonna do a couple rows of that.
And the salt. Like,
So I'm gonna start with, oh, there we go. Sorry, I froze for a second there. So same as far as the colors that you're starting with for your main color. You'll start with your main color. Okay, the question is what size hook am I using? This is a 6 mm, also a J/6 mm crochet hook. Which I thought went really well with the worsted. I usually use like quite of a large hook. Plus, I wanted the sweater to be a little oversized and loose. So obviously, the larger the hook that you use, the wider your stitches will be in the overall design. And if you want it tighter, you can obviously go down a hook. Shannon's using Noro Akari, and the color changing is striping perfectly. Ooh, I'd love to see a picture of that. Yeah, at that point, you don't even have to change anything. You don't have to, you won't have any ends to weave in. Not very many anyway. Okay, so I'm starting with a slip knot. Oh, what I was gonna say is with the colors of the yes. Sorry, someone's asking for the link again for the pattern. Let me add that. And if you click on that link, it'll take you right to the pattern. And you can print it too if you want to have it like in front of you. So depending on the size that you make, the color that you end with on your front panel is going to be different, again, depending on which size. So how you start your sleeve, you'll want it to be cohesive with the color pattern that you're following. So obviously the blue, I don't even forget the name of this color, but it's like a burnt, almost orange color. Black, gray, brown, blue. And so I ended my panel at gray, as you can see here. So in the pattern, the next color was brown. So I started my sleeve with what that next color would be, which is the brown, and then just continued the pattern. So as you're working on that, just keep in mind if you want to follow a specific pattern color, just to know where you're starting with the colors. But the main color will be the same. And I do say it's like the main color in here. So for me, it's the saffron. So go ahead and make your foundation chain. I am working on the size small, so it's the first number that's in the parentheses. So I'm chaining 51.
This woman's giving a free crochet pattern on the internet. As you go on Zoom and listen to her, she only speaks English. This goes all over the world.
So it's the type of English you understand?
But not all the Spanish speaking people that have
Yeah.
tuned in.
So is it something that you have to apply for to get it?
Yeah, not apply. You just have to say yes.
Okay, so once you have your foundation chain, kind of like what we did for the panel, you're going to do one row of single crochet. So you'll place a single crochet in the second chain from your hook, and then in each chain across. Just basically continuing along with the pattern that we were following for the panels. So it's like one row of the main color and then two rows of the next color, except those are double crochet rows. Oh, and I didn't test mine. I mean, I know it fits because I made this once already, but you can like wrap it around and it will hang off of your shoulder a little bit too. But, kind of wrapping it, pulling it, and then adjusting your base number. That's really all that matters. Is like what that foundation chain is, it will just set the tone for the whole thing. So for me, that was like a perfect amount of space for the arm. I know it could be a little trickier when you're making it for somebody, and if they're not right next to you to like measure on their bodies.
You want some more beans and cavalacita? Because I have some.
Yeah, sure. And put them either on the plate or in here with us.
1 second. Okay. Yes, I got it. I've never had to do that before. So I was figuring out how. Okay. We're all set. Everybody can still hear me, right? Okay. Okay. So just again, working through our single crochet row. So here's a question from Alice. Can you add the sleeves after the front and back seams of the panels have been sewn together? Yes, absolutely. That's what I did for mine. I attached my panels first and then added the sleeves. So pretty easy assembly process. As you're going through your sleeve instructions as well, obviously everyone has different lengths of arms. So I have very, very long arms. I'm a tall girl with long arms. And so I like my sleeves to be like kind of slouchy and long. So how I designed it was I made them long and then I added the cuff so it kind of cuffs around my wrist and then looks a little loose. As I keep saying, this is how you want your design to look on your body, so you can make the sleeve as short or as long as you want it. Just keep in mind that blocking will make it longer. So you don't want to end up with sleeves that go past your thumbs, right? I mean, unless that's your preference, but um after you get to a certain point, just like hold it up to your arm and then you can kind of determine from there. Some of my other designs that I've had testers for, sometimes the sleeves end up way too long, and I've had to adjust that. Okay, so row one is completed, and we're going to switch colors now. So like I showed before, or if you didn't see before because you joined in a little later. For your last stitch, you're going to go ahead and work your single crochet, but you're not going to finish it. So you'll place your hook into that last stitch and you'll pull up a loop, but you're not going to finish it off because here's where you're going to change your color. I know now that I'm talking and we're going through this, you might not know what your next color is at this point because you might not know where you're going to end with your color. So we'll just do um, a row of this so you're not feeling like you're wasting time, if that makes sense. Unless you know you're, sticking with this color combo when you're making a size small, then you know your next color is going to be brown. But if you're making a larger size or using different yarn or different colors, you might not know which color to switch to. This is just simply for going through the process together, in case there's any questions, of course. So my next color is the brown. Light brown. So you'll pick back up your work and take your new color, and you're going to finish off that single crochet stitch with your new color. So you'll just wrap it around your hook like that and pull through. Tighten up everything a little bit. And then from here, you will chain 2 and turn. You know, it's actually interesting because I'm noticing and just bear with me. In the for the panels, I have a chain 3 turn, but for the sleeves, I have a chain 2 turn. And I don't know why I did that because neither count as a stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the chain 2. But yeah, that's interesting. It won't change anything in your pattern, but I just noticed that, like, I don't know why I did those different. So you'll place 1 double crochet in the first stitch and then in each stitch across. Also, now that I'm looking at the design, because we talked about how if you wanted to make it a t-shirt, you could, or a vest, you could. You could also make it so it's like a cardigan, essentially. Obviously, there'd be a little bit of changes to the overall pattern, but you could leave the front open, and then when you work on your cuff, you just stop at the center and just go back and forth. So that's also another option for design, and only attach it near the back. Just a thought. Feel like I should have some music going or something. What does everybody like to do when you crochet? Do you normally just sit in quiet, or do you normally watch a show or listen to music, or curious? I like to listen to music or like a podcast. Watch TV, podcast. Would you please post the gauge chains again? Yes. Second. So you will, foundation chain will be 15. Then follow rows 1 through 10 on the striped panel. Instruction. And it's 14 stitches by 10 rows. We've got watch TV, hang out with people, podcasts, watch TV, listen to music, a book, or a podcast, TV or shows, doctor's offices. Well, absolutely. Anytime I know I'm going to be sitting and waiting, I have my crochet with me. Comfort movie in the background, something I know from memory. Yes. If I'm watching something new, it's so distracting. I I can't really crochet while watching. Build up to TV watching and crocheting. Nice. Yeah, I like to be outside, but lately it's been so hot. But I usually prefer to sit outside and listen to music and enjoy nature as well. Or I used to like crochet at the beach a lot. So a lot of people watching TV, um, like what shows? Is it shows or like there's so much these days, right? I like watching series, like TV series. I crochet in car line as well when I'm picking up my kids or at red lights. Cooking competitions and true crime. I Bad Sisters and Your Friends and Neighbors. I don't think I've heard of those. Um, my husband and I just finished the 24 and 24 cooking competition show, and I'm obsessed with that. If you like cooking competitions, that one's so fun to watch. It's actually stressful, but it's great. Yeah, the winner. Yeah, I was super happy. We felt the same, so deserving. Then we just watched The Night Agent as well. That was a good one. Okay, so sleeves coming along. That was row 2 completed. Now moving on to row 3, you're just gonna chain 2 and turn and do one more row of that color and then switch to yellow and you'll continue. You'll see in the instructions once you reach row 10, that's where you're going to start your decrease row. But it's not going to be every row. You'll single crochet decrease um and at the beginning and the end of the row, and then we've got every 6 rows will be a decrease. So that will be the yellow only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So you'll only decrease when you're using your main color. And you're going to repeat that it's going to feel different depending on the length that you're making, but you'll notice that your sleeve is going to start to taper, which is what we want as it goes down closer to the wrist. Once you have your length, I recommend blocking before you assemble your sleeve, which is just folding it in half and whip stitching up the side, but you can block it and Then you'll fold it in half, whip stitch up the side, and then you'll take your stitch markers and attach it to your sleeve where you have the armhole. And remember what I mentioned before is don't sew up the sides yet before you attach your sleeves. Or if you do, just make sure you know how big you want the armhole to be. Otherwise, you might have to take out some of your stitches from your whip stitching just to make sure the fit is good for you. House of the Dragon. I haven't watched that yet. Now for the cuff around the sleeve, very similar to the cuff around the bottom of the sweater, except it's not as many rows. And there is, let's see. So it's 2 rounds and you're working in the back loop only, which all of this is in the instructions. I'm just kind of showing you so you're prepared for when you get to that point. And these are both going to be decrease rows. So it'll explain how many you'll do and then how many decreases you'll do. And that's just again to add if you want that cinch, and you can keep adding if you want it to be tighter around your wrist as well. Okay, noted. Awesome. I'll put it on my watch list. Better than Game of Thrones. I wish I loved Game of Thrones. I watched it like 3 times, so. Okay. Let me just go over. Is there any questions? Oh, neckline. Also, if you have questions, feel free though. Like, I'm gonna go over the neckline real quick. I think we've kind of covered mostly everything. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward, very easy stitches, very easy assembly. With the neckline, once you attach the panels together, then it's just a simple border around the neck. Here it's going to be 2 rounds total of the border. And again, if you want to add more rounds, you absolutely can. In the pattern too, at the bottom, it has my email, which is also dropped in here. In the chat, I mean. Has anybody, like, did anybody start working on it before we started the class? I'm curious if any, like, how far people are along. Oh, thank you. We'll probably wrap up a little early just because there's, I pretty much covered everything. I know this class goes until 3, but I'm pretty sure that we kind of got everything covered. Oh, good. You just ordered the yarn. Awesome. It's totally worth it. I love this. I love wearing it. I can't wait to like wear it again where it fits me again. And when it's cold again to wear it. But yeah, I've got all the colors here for this one. I can also drop a link in here for a blocking mat. I don't know if everybody has one. I know some of you are new, so I don't recall which one I have, but this one's very similar. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them anywhere really, but I'm just gonna drop one link, but there's tons to choose from. But just so you can see like what it looks like. It comes in a pack. Oh gosh, that was a really long link. Sorry about that. Um, It comes in a pack, and they're like these big foam panels that you can like put together, and then you pin your items in place. And sometimes for larger projects, you might have to wait or get two packs depending on what you're making. But the one I use is very similar to this. Yeah, I would love to see if you're working in different colors. Kat just asked. Even if you want to show on your camera, you should be able to unmute yourself. And if you start talking, I'd love to see it in different colors for sure, or variegated yarn, or I don't know if anybody's making it in a solid.
I'm just making it in that black and purple, so
Oh, yeah.
that's all this is so far. I'll get a better lighting picture of it when
Okay.
it's done, but I'm using the purple for the double crochets and the black for the singles.
Beautiful. I love that. And you can share, I don't know if everybody's like on Instagram or whatever. That's kind of what I use mostly in Circulo too. You can like share on your story and then tag Circulo and you can tag me. My Instagram is at Hands of Zeal. Who's- Tatiana said she's gonna work it in white and cherry red. That sounds really pretty. Yeah, there are some stores selling the Aussie yarn, definitely. Online, because I know we have quite a few flagship stores. So I think even if you go to Circulo's website and you type in, it'll show you where or what stores carry it. Okay, awesome. So there is a picture of one in in different colors. Do it in like red, white, and blue. Lion brand ombre. That sounds really pretty. Awesome. Yeah, I think like once you make something or you're starting to make something, you get so inspired. I don't know how you guys get inspired by like picking which colors to choose, but again, I loved all of these together. It's very much my style. Okay, here's one. So Lince International, which is Circulo, they just shared oh, these colors are so pretty together. But they shared a picture in the chat if anybody wants to see. And you can zoom in. It's like yellow and blues. Looks like a purple. Yeah, that's really gorgeous. Awesome. Okay, so there is a flagship store in Georgia. Perfect. We do need to find out about France and Spain. I'm writing that down. And I know someone said we've got a Germany and an Italy. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you're having trouble finding circular yarn where you are. Yep, there we go. I didn't forget. Um, oh, thank you. Oh, Gloria, the timing was off. It tends to happen. Um, because I'm Eastern Standard Time, and so sometimes when people get the invite, they think that it's like 1 o'clock their time, or which is totally understandable. So that can happen, absolutely. But we are recording this, so it's going to be up on Circulo's YouTube channel, so you'll be able to access it. And again, if there's any questions, you can always reach out to Circulo, reach out to me. And then again, like I'd love to see pictures of what people make because like this is my design. So I like to just see what people do with it and what colors they use or if they made any changes. If anybody makes a t-shirt, I gotta see it. That would be awesome. Thank you so much, Barbara. This will be your first crocheting project. Oh my goodness, you have to send me a photo. I have to see it. And Circulo shared their YouTube channel link in here. Okay, tomorrow the class will be there. Perfect. And then we did talk, I'm going to grab it right now, actually. Don't go anywhere because we talked about the intarsia crochet a little bit. I wanted to show you guys my lobster. Hold on. It's right over here. Okay. I worked in some Circulo yarn. I have blue in there. I can't remember now. Is it the sugar cane? I had like a bunch of stash, but this was my lobster I'm working on. So that took like a year between all of the other things I've been working on. So, this is the white that I ran out of that I cannot find, but I have the whole pattern for the lobster written down. I sat there and just, yeah, it was a lot of work. So it'll be worth it once it's completed, but you guys can, expect that in the near future. Could be another year, I don't know, but I'd like to get that out. So thank you guys so much. We're gonna just go ahead and end everything now. This was awesome. You all are amazing. Thank you for joining. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day.